Hello again, everyone. It's Vince from Trading Winds. This is our weekend update for August 4th, 2024. It was a pretty wild week overall and a pretty negative ending to the week. The Dow finishing lower by 635 points here on Friday. You can see what happened the day before as well. We've come a long way off those highs. We now have lower highs, lower lows on the daily time frame. We're back within this recent range. So we quickly went from looking very positive to not looking very good at all here. The S&P 500 cleared these lows as well. It was down 104 points on Friday, pushing through these lows pretty aggressively. Again, the higher time frames, if we're looking at the weekly, it's right there. We're retesting it now. The monthly, still looking pretty good. But the daily falling apart. We've got lower highs, lower lows once again. The Nasdaq, same thing, following through, down 467 points. Again, the higher time frames are above the 20, but on the daily, lower highs, lower lows. The Russell down about 80 points. Again, two huge reversal days here, clearing this prior high, just pushing straight through it. So it was the last 2 days were a big sell-off across the board. I mean, the overseas markets took a hit, everything took a hit. Crude oil down big, almost down over 3.5% on Friday alone. Here, gold, holding its own. Here, down 11 points on Friday, but still sitting above the highs of that recent range. So it's looking better than most charts here. Silver, it looks like it's getting rejected. They're not looking as good, down 8.5 cents on Friday. Not a huge down day by any means, but again, failing to get back above the 20. Bond yields were lower across the board. The dollar taking a big hit on Friday, over 1% drop there. And the VIX, a huge spike. Now, finishing up here by 480, but look at how much higher it was. The VIX here hitting a high of 29.66 before closing at 23.38 the day before. The VIX closing at 18.58. So just a huge spike there. So overall, it looks like fear hit the market Thursday and Friday. We'll see, where that takes us this week. It's going to be a fairly quiet week for news. We have ISM Services PMI on Monday, but that's about it. Then, for important things, we go to next week where we have PPI and CPI and the retail sales numbers. But this week, just the ISM number, not a whole lot else to look forward to. One setup here to the long side IES Holdings, IESC, here setting up on Friday, closing in the top quarter of the bar here. If we look at the weekly, looking pretty good, bouncing off that 20. We look at the monthly, and we're near the all-time highs, right? Earnings 124 days away. So, that was one that we can look at. Not a lot of short setups, only because the market was so bullish before this that, a 2-day turnaround doesn't add up to a solid downtrend. So the victory system does not pick up anything just yet. It's there to highlight strong trends and then jump on those trends, and we're not quite there yet. So we're going to need to see more selling before we start to see a lot of short setups. But IESC is one to keep an eye on as we head into Monday. And then, of course, what's important this coming week to look at is, is there going to be follow through on these moves, specifically, in my opinion, the S&P and the Nasdaq, right? Which are a little further along and approaching areas of support. So if we continue to push through, then we pretty much know where, what phase of the market we're in next. But that's what we'll keep an eye on closely this coming week.